You want an investment edge, but all you hear is noise, hype, and half-truths. Every signal is solid information, but only if you can see the bigger picture. This is where the Quasar magic happens. Weather, charts, news, all financial signals, funneled into a single dashboard. Data alone isn't enough. Quasar Markets turns it into energy, sharp, clear, precise. Optimize with Quasar Markets today, your edge when investing.
Good morning, Quasar Markets Live. Good morning, BigBeat. How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. You know, look, yesterday we saw capitulation in the AI. So I was happy. Palantir fell a little bit, and I'd say a whole lot, actually. And I doubled down what I normally do, right? And yesterday evening, I took a lot of that off, which lowered my dollar cost averaging, which I love doing. And here we are. And I saw this morning, I wrote a piece about Palantir, and I saw Dan Ives also looking at it too and reposting it and liking it. So, you know, look, the world isn't over. AI is still happening. So even though we're talking about Jackson Hole and interest rates and all that, it's still noise. When you think about the future, it's all noise. So here we are, and I like this.
Okay, sounds good. Qs are set to open down about 0.5 point. SPY 0.5 point. Dow Jones about 1/4 point. VIX creeping up to about 16.5 here. As you mentioned, we got Powell speaking tomorrow. I don't see much else going on. Walmart didn't have much going on. Nothing really moving in the positivity today at all.
Yeah, that's a good point. You asked me earlier this week what I want to look at, what numbers I want to look at, and then of course it's Walmart. I don't know that Walmart had good numbers. I think it was their guidance issues that, for me, was their big problem, because they did raise their profit and they did raise the top and bottom line. To me, it was all about guidance. I didn't really like it, and they said tariffs are starting to now creep in. So that's a problem. We've said this for a while, that eventually, look, tariffs don't work. We can't keep saying this. Okay, yeah, they made a little bit of money, but guess who's paying for it? I mean, we are. I mean, it's not like the companies are going to pay the tariffs. It's not like countries are going to pay the tariffs. We're the ones that want the product. So guess what? We had to pay the tariffs. So it's hurting us, and it's now squeezing Walmart, which is, by the way, Walmart is the largest employer in the United States outside the government.
Not name the U.S. government.
Outside of the U.S. government. So, okay. Right, there it is. So I don't know. This is not a smart move.
Yeah, down about 2.51%. They did have a beat on sales, and raised guidance, but they had a slight EPS miss. Yeah. I mentioned I'd seen that they had not raised prices yet in a lot of their stuff in comparison to Costco and others when I was out. They're now saying we're going to have to, because it's hitting the profits, right? Profits are getting squeezed.
Yeah, they were holding off as much as they possibly could, and they can't do it anymore. So it's a little tough on them right now.
You know, we saw Target yesterday down big on that news. Instacart's down about 3.32 in response to all of the retail sort of earnings that have come out the last few days. So definitely negative. The consumer might have been still shopping, but it seems like only because of the discounts like we talked about.
Yeah. I mean, the retailers in general, I mean, I said it yesterday that I felt like Target had capitulated yesterday. We saw a bounce back, got down to about 92.5, something around there, 93, and the bounce back. But we're just not there yet. So, it could get worse. 10-year now popping here at 4.32. So that means some money's coming out of the bond market. But again, it's all about Jackson Hole tomorrow.
Yep. So, Steve, is it AI pullback bubble or digestion here? NASDAQ down 2.1% this week. Yesterday, shorts on those leveraged ETFs made $5.6 billion in 2 days betting against the AI stocks. NVIDIA, Meta, Apple, Google, and AMD.
Yep. Look, I can't tell you how many times during the dot-com bubble that we had pullbacks. And guess what? Amazon, Microsoft, they're all worth more than they were back then. So 100 times more than they were back then. Look, this is going to happen. You're going to have short sellers out there. We're going to get FOMO. We're seeing that all the time. Unfortunately, retailers are just chasing. We try to keep them from chasing. They do it anyway. And when they do that, it hurts them, right? And we're seeing a more gambling mentality with Robinhood doing the same thing now, almost mixing gambling with the stocks, which is illegal, by the way. Can't do that. They got to separate the companies, which they are. But when you look at it from the AI side, you put it all together, right? So how does AI affect the FOMO? How is AI affecting companies? You just saw yesterday Tim Cook now saying that biggest change in history is coming with his company, and he's referring to AI intelligence. I don't know. I mean, you're going to have to really prove something here. He's way so far behind now in technology, especially in the AI side. So no, it's digestion because we're still moving forward. These guys are going to spend big bucks. So they have to go out. I was talking to Carolyn Woods yesterday from CNN and Street.com on the phone yesterday, and one of the things that she was saying was that the AI side of things isn't stopping, right? That there is this feeling out there that and also that there's mixture of crypto, right? That the education side of all of this isn't quite there yet. People don't really understand what all AI does. So how do we fix that problem, right? And I think that's part of it, right? That it just has to be integrated in a way that it's just part of your daily routine and how we live. That's going to happen.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because one of the things I pulled up from yesterday, MIT has found in a study that 95% of firms have seen no return on investment from AI in their investment yet. It's still so early. We can talk about that, but it is interesting. I do think that this is what's leading some of the short sellers. Also, you had our boy Andrew Left, come out, and now it's funny how all these things pile one on top of each other. Everything was AI was the answer to all of our needs just 2 weeks ago. Andrew Left said bad things about Palantir, and now MIT study comes out, and this comes out.
The problem with Andrew Left is now he's having to back it up. It's repeated again. Is that he was wrong? He was comparing Palantir and Databricks, and Databricks used Palantir. So his thesis was literally wrong. Right, and I just spoke to Dan this morning before coming on this morning. I think I just talked. Oh, look at that. He's right. This is digestion before the next wave. We're in the fifth industrial revolution, as my friend Kat Randall would say, and we're there. So I think people are just being silly. But I have no problem with profit taking, as I always say. Howard, take profit, enjoy that money. That's what it's there for. Can't take it with you.
No, that's for sure. U.S. EU trade deal finally sort of getting some of the actual details that in there. Autos and parts are capped at 15%, so not the 30% that had been threatened. Pharma capped at 15%. Generics get MFN pricing, and the EU has pledged 750 billion U.S. energy buys.
All right, let's get to it. Trump said he is going to put 150% tariff on pharma. That was the first words out of his mouth. Second words was, well, we might get 100%. Maybe then the third words was 200%. It's actually 15%. So people are not taking him at his word anymore when it comes to deal. It's not the art of the deal. That's just silliness. The U.S.-EU trade deal is interesting to me because does the EU buy U.S. cars? No, they don't. So I don't know that that's a big deal. Pharmaceuticals. We get a majority of our pharmaceuticals from European companies. The major manufacturers, and a lot of those companies, even ones that are in the United States, guess what? They are actually in Ireland. They're in the EU. So this doesn't help us. So what do we get out of it? $700 billion buy of natural gas and oil. We already send that much to them. So this was a PR headline. I don't want to shake anybody, but this is what I mean when we build Quasar Markets. I want people to understand exactly what's really happening behind the scenes and not just headline news and saying, this is what we did. We cut a deal. The deal was already cut 24 years ago. Sorry. The only thing is you're restructuring the deal so that the money's up front, not in the back end. All right, whatever. That's what I mean. It's not political. It's just how things are happening. So we want to make sure that we understand this deal. This is not a deal. This is nonsense.
Yeah, can't argue there. Saw an interesting article. I don't know if you saw it, Steve. It was from Jason Thomas, the Carlisle strategist, that pointed out that capital is finite. And right now, all the money being pushed into AI is part of what's hurting the housing markets.
He's right.
Yeah, and I couldn't argue with it. As he said, banks, investors, and bond markets only have so much lending capacity. And when AI companies, hyperscalers, and utility borrow heavily to build out this AI infrastructure, it competes with housing for available financing.
Not just housing, but I mean,
this is part of the problem with interest rates right now. That this is artificially keeping interest rates higher than the Fed even wants. Never mind.
Yeah, and I haven't read it, so please send that to me because I'd love to read that one. But I will tell you, quite frankly, that's 1% right. You know, these firms only have so much money, and they know that the future. So if people like Tim Cook is coming out and saying, "All right, we're going to spend multi-billions of dollars on AI," they're right. Guess who started that whole thing? Mark Zuckerberg. People were making fun of Mark Zuckerberg for spending $800 billion on AI. Today, guess who's winning the AI war right now? Mark Zuckerberg, right? Because he was ahead of the game. Now, is it already monetized? No, it's not. It took. People don't realize it took almost 8 years to monetize the internet back in the day. People don't realize that, right? I mean, it just took a while because why? It was hard. You had to integrate it. People didn't have enough bandwidth to download stuff. Remember what it took overnight to download a Netscape CD just to put your new browser on? Oh my God, I remember those days, right? Those are gone. And the speed, and I said this last year, the speed of adoption of AI is passing up Moore's law. So if we continue this path, $1 billion today is going to be worth $100 billion in the future. I mean, this is crazy. So I understand why they're spending it, but that's absolutely right. It's absolutely crushing the housing market. There's no money to lend to the housers.
Right. And when you look at the mortgage rate gap, you know, existing homeowners are pretty much locked in at 2.75%. New buyers today, 6.6%. That 400 basis points gap means a housing market freeze. People don't want to sell, and buyers can't afford the monthly payment even if they do sell. You know, AI's demand for capital is keeping those mortgage rates elevated, worsening affordability. So AI was supposed to help us. It might be hurting us in the housing market right now. And then, you know, it talked about how this is actually a policy dilemma for the current administration, for sure. You know, normally high rates kill housing, Fed cuts rates, and housing recovers. But this time, every rate cut risks fueling more AI build out, more capital demand, higher energy use, more inflationary pressure. So policymakers are cut risks and risk an AI investment bubble and higher inflation, hold rates, and housing stays frozen. Consumer spending suffers.
Yeah, that's what I've said all along, right? I mean, the biggest problem in all of this is not the usage, it's energy, right? We have an energy issue here. But when people talk to me about oil and I go, God, we have so much oil, drill, baby, drill, it's stupid. Say what we need to do in order to fix. If you're an oil, if this president considers himself an oil person, so I like this. Great, go spend some of that tariff money. If you really want to spend the money, don't give it back to the American people. Go spend it on fixing and creating and building more refineries. That's the key. We need better refineries and dedicated refineries. The problem with refineries is that this refinery does this, and on this month and 2 months they'll build jet fuel, and they have to make it costs them lots to change. If the refineries are stuck on one thing, they got to build just oil, and they got to take that oil and turn it into natural and gasoline. Great. We have so much natural gas, we burn it off. If you ever go by an oil field, you see them burning. They're burning off natural gas. That's what they're doing. Because I think a lot of people don't really realize that oil is like in a pocket, right? You stick a straw in that pocket, and on what keeps the oil down is natural gas, right? So we burn that off to get our straw in there so it doesn't gush. I think that's what it's for, right? We have so much. We just need to learn how to refine it better and more efficiently. And I think AI is going to help with that too as well. So I like that.
Well, AI and crypto already are, because the data centers are following those mining rigs, and they're using that flared energy to power the mining facilities and the data centers. So we are seeing that a little bit. Steve, market's kind of boring, to be honest with you. In general, Neg, which I know you're a fan of, up about 8.46% today. Not really on any news that I could find, to be honest with you. April 28th was the last time they announced fiscal year results. They have earnings coming up, in a few days. So this one, I don't know why it's moving. But other than that, there isn't really a whole bunch moving today to the upside. You got a little bit of a bounce back by CoreWeave and Sound AI and, a couple of others, but there really isn't much going on.
Yeah. Seasonally, this is a stock that usually goes up in July and August. Newegg moves up in this time because they have some really good deals going on. I think I said this earlier this morning. I'm kind of shocked that Newegg hasn't been bought out in a way that maybe an Amazon or a Walmart would incorporate them into the system. I'll be honest with you. Y'all know what my feeling about Newegg. I think it's a great company doing very cool things. If you don't know what Newegg does, it's newegg.com. They sell computers, some computer parts, and technology at wholesale and pretty cheap, right? And when we talk about Micron here, we talk about AMD or Intel. This is one of the places that actually does that, right? So they're selling the pickaxes. I will also say that they have expanded a bit into other technology, which I do like as well. Think of it like Dyson. Think of it like laptops and keyboards and things of that nature too. So they've expanded a bit, but to me, I think it's a short sell right now. There's a drop right there. Dang it. I was thinking about shorting it this morning. I think there's a big gap there. If you look at the 1 minute chart, there was a big gap there. I think now that gap almost got filled there. Dang it. Yeah.
I haven't used them in years. I used to, in the old days, I used to buy stuff from them, but I honestly haven't in years.
Yeah, their 72-hour sale is happening now. That's why I'm saying that if you look at their website, workstation systems and networking, and this is usually when I looked at Newegg to buy things. If you think of it like as in October time or Amazon days, this is their days as well. I just don't think they're selling that much to make it happen.
Yeah, I don't know about, like I said, you're not familiar with some of those team name things that I know because the little one, like I said, I haven't used this since the early days, and it was where you used to go build. I mean, if you look at their stock in the old, it was at one time a hot mover because they were the ones that sold all the computers to the geeks and the industry. Chipotle just had its earnings come out here, missed its top line revenue by 1.56%. Did beat its EPS here, down about a 0.5 percentage point. Like I said, there's not much moving today. Doesn't seem like.
I'll be honest with you. Chipotle is really struggling. It's not as popular as it was as when back in the day. This was an $80 stock, folks. $70 stock. We're now at 42. So if you like Chipotle at 70, you liked it. If you like it 40. But I
think they're losing market share, as you said. I think that they're in a tough price point. They've got to either count for a real step down from people that normally would go eat at maybe, I don't even know what you'd compare. I mean, they're, like we said, why Brinker and some of those other Darden have had some pretty good reports recently is they've done a good job of closing that gap, right? You're already spending $13 a meal at Chipotle. For that same $13, you can get your drink, your meal, and be served by somebody at Chili's or Applebee's.
And if you look at it from that perspective, I mean, McDonald's is realizing that they made a mistake. I've said that.
Right, all value menu again, value menu, value menu. And then they've done such a good job, like you said, is the tie-in to movies and cult things. Right now, they're doing a big McDonald Land thing back to our days, Steve. They got Mayor McCheese back and Grimace and all the good characters.
They went back to the old days, and you know what? I complained about that.
That's when they dominated. I was looking at it, and they were showing the difference. We grew up in the great ages of McDonald's, Steve, when there were playlands everywhere. I mean, you used to go to McDonald's, you just could stay there for 3 hours.
It's also why we're all fat too, though. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely, supersized and everything. But they, it is funny to see the difference now, how it's gone to almost all drive-in. And that's what you really see is it's all the drive-through that moves the McDonald's and those other things. People are on the move. Steve, you talked about a little bit yesterday, lumber prices tumbling. Gold and oil are flat so far today. I did a little bit more research, because you mentioned with Home Depot, lumber prices may be helping. More research I'm doing, it's actually going to hurt them.
So they went out and they bought a bunch of lumber.
A stockpile. Yeah, they're in trouble with that. So I just wanted to bring that up because you brought that up yesterday as maybe.
So let me clarify that. Yep. So you're right. So they have a stockpile, which would hurt them because they had to lower the price at Home Depot. But yes, but they're also going to stockpile here too as well. Home Depot knows that lumber isn't going away. They know that there's a housing problem. We know that the builders are slowing down. We know that they know that. But this is a good time to stock up. So they're buying the futures against it. They've already done that. So that's why Home Depot is not hurt by it yet. They won't be hurt by it, I think, in the future because they'll be buying more lumber. And as they'll be able to cost average out that lumber cost, if it's $800 a board foot or $8 a board foot, $2 a board foot, then all of a sudden now you're down to about 5.5, 6, right? So you've lowered it. They're going to pass on that to the consumer down the road. So I understand that they'll work it out. It is in the short term a problem for Home Depot, but not in the long term at all.
Yeah, and the other part of that, though, that is also doing it is they're seeing fewer, and we talked about this from their earnings, they're seeing fewer big ticket purchases and projects. So these little, if you do a backsplash on your, in your kitchen, you don't need much lumber to do that. You need lumber when you want to, when there's a bit, building decks and you're adding additions and your things like that. So they're also not seeing that, which is why it could be a little bit of a drag, especially for BLDR, who is very tied to wholesale lumber pricing. They basically just move it across. So their margins will get hit dramatically here. Same with UFPI also.
Yeah, I mean, my eye here is on Newegg a bit.
Is on what? I'm sorry?
Newegg, back to 118 here.
Oh, nice. Steve, who do I use to buy my computers? I buy them directly from Dell in the last 4 or 5, to be honest with you. I don't need somebody else. I go direct to the.
Interesting you say that. My computers actually in my office are all Dell now. I did that about a year ago, as everybody knows. You're right. I like Dell computers. I think they've come back. I think Michael made a huge error back in the day, and I think now he's changed the tune again. So yes, I do like what's going on with Dell, and I do have Dell computers. Yeah,
so that's where I've seen that I get them nowadays. Like part of it is also, the ease of it. You used to need neg because Dell, trying to build your own system out was very difficult to do. You had to have some knowledge and make sure you were matching the right price, right parts to the right things so that they would be compatible and work right. Now you hit a few clicks and it does it all for you. It says, okay, you just picked your memory. Now, how big of a hard drive? This is what we recommend. If you're doing this, you need this. If you need this, you do this. And it makes it just very easy to do at a direct level. So that's to me. And I don't think many people, I also would say to me, a computer is a disposable item at this point. When I was younger, your computer box you kept forever. You upgraded the components in it. Nowadays, it's almost cheaper, especially if you want NVIDIA parts, you sort of have to buy a new computer. It's easier to get a new NVIDIA card in a new computer than it is to buy it on the regular market through neg. So I'd say that's another part.
You can get one. I mean, it's not easy to buy those. Yeah. So.
Yeah. They're showing up now, again, in the already made computers. Very hard to find them to upgrade. You want to buy a new computer. Dell has plenty of them for you.
Yeah, but buying the NVIDIA chip right now is still not easy.
Yeah, not even possible for the newest. You're on a wait list, so without a doubt there. Okay, we are about 4 minutes from the open here, Steve. Ticks negative, advanced decline down about 1,400 here. As I mentioned, QQQs actually have moved back up a little bit. We're down almost half a percentage point, earlier today, now down about 32 basis points. SPY's been pretty flat, moving still to the downside, actually down 34 basis points here. VIX has dropped off a little bit from the highs of the day. We were calling that out at 14 every day. Hopefully you guys listen to us. Gold getting hit a little bit here this morning, Steve, back down at 33.43. Just doesn't seem to be able to break that 33.50 mark here.
Correct. You're absolutely right. I'm not a big fan right now of it. We'll see about tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, today's a day of just hurry up and wait, in my opinion. I don't think you'll see much. I can tell you in the crypto market, most open interest and volume have dried up over the last 24 hours. Leverage has sort of come out of the system, and, it's sort of calmed down a little bit here. So I do think we might see a yawn of a day. Marilyn's saying that Palantir is moving here. Let's see what we got going on.
It is. I mean, I like Palantir. Y'all know that. So
yeah, me too. I'm still long in my long-term holdings on it. Yeah, nice move to the upside here right now in the last 5 minutes. Nice little move to the upside.
I mean, the problem with Palantir is all these the shorts getting crushed.
We talked about it yesterday on Market Minds. These are the days, or the last few days for Palantir has been, I want to be the ticket taker, right?
Every single time.
Yeah. Trying to see if I see anything else going on here. Like I said, the main movers were really, bounce backs by things that have been beaten up, and then most of the laggards, quite honestly, were crypto mining companies today. That's what we've seen, the bounce back by CoreWeave, by Hewlett Packard, by HSAI. The one that keeps on moving, you want to talk about volatility, your favorite stock, Kiev, yesterday, so far it's trading range already today, Steve, $12.68 to $16 in the pre-market. I love to trade things, but man, I don't know that I could even trade this thing. That is nuts.
It's just stupid.
It's just nuts. I mean, literally, look at that ATR, Steve, 1.01. I don't think I've ever seen it above 1.
Let me do that again.
Yeah, I don't even know that. I didn't think ATR went above 1. I thought that was like it. That's 100% move, isn't it? Full ATR. That's crazy. I mean, look at that.
We have an implied open of Dow down 200 this morning in the Nasdaq. I mean, it's just people are nervous about tomorrow, I think. I mean,
and you've said it though. These are the days. So I got to ask: are you going to put your rod out tomorrow morning on the other side of the ship? Is Mr. Flanagan?
No, I'm not. I
had to ask because sometimes you do that.
I can see Pal now. Screw your Pal puts, right? I mean, I think that's that's the meme of the day, right? Screw your Pal puts, but no, I don't.
Markets open, first move, like we said, pretty significant to the downside. Tick minus 500 right off the start. Q's back down towards the lows of the day, 563.56. So we are going to see a little bit of the algos, I think, selling the news here. To start off with, we'll see if we can find a bottom quickly, or do we continue to push down? Same thing on crypto. I will say it has been the opposite of what we've seen the last few days, in that usually we had seen the market moving up towards the cash open, and then on cash open it sort of sold off. Today it's been moving down pretty steadily since 11 o'clock last night. So we'll see if we go. We got some key levels to hold here.
I think
I'm coming off of that lows of the day back to the midpoint of its trading range. Tick minus 422. Advanced decline now down 3,600. That is the low of the morning. 36.75 to the downside.
I picked up a little bit of Palantir here, I think.
Ron, that's now moved down to 36.24 here, advanced decline. And continuing to drop. Q's now down 0.5 percentage point, SPY 43, Dow Jones down 55. So profit taken across the Dow today. Let's take a look and see what is moving so far. We do see nice jump up by Neg, now up 15.59%. Same thing, Liberty. This has been a weird one. This Liberty Gold has been really volatile the last few days. It's been one of the big movers on pretty low volume. This is a weird one. I got to do some more research on this because it's popped up every morning here recently. NDSN, Nordson Corporation. Steve, you familiar with them? I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, Nordson
8.59% here this morning on an earnings beat, it looks like. They did. They had they beat top line and revenue here. Let's see if I can pull up any quick numbers. They are a dispensing equipment maker.
All right. So I'm averaged in this next big move here. I'm as everybody knows, I'm long Palantir. I've just bought some more Palantir down here on this dip. I do like this dip here a lot. So I think we'll be very positive today at some point. There we go.
And that Nordson is right by me in Westlake, Ohio here. They are a precision dispensing company, so for pharmaceuticals and medical fluid solutions.
Yeah, this Palantir is looking pretty good here. We could go positive here in a second.
Got to break through that VWAP there at 156, but we'll see what we get. Holding above the 50-day simple moving average keeps it fairly positive here. Ethereum, nice little bounce. So, like I said, we're seeing a little bit of the opposite of what we've seen. It's been a deja vu day. The last few days, like I said, we've seen that early morning sell-off or the early morning rise, sell-off at 9:30. A little bit of a move up here, back to 42.75 for Ethereum. 113,328. Bitcoin, I will say, under a little bit more pressure than Ethereum. Ethereum, Solana, most of the alts had a nice bullish engulfing candlestick yesterday, Steve. So our first
positive here, 62 here.
First
and we are now positive on Palantir, 156. So there you go.
Remaining positive here, up 12 now. Advanced decline sort of bottomed out at that 3,400 to the downside. Now moving back up a little bit. Q's off the bottom, off the lows of the day. So is the SPY. Dow Jones also. So we are seeing a little bit of buying here. VIX popped up to 1641 here, hit a high at 1659 a little earlier. So again, volatility starting to see a lot
of zero DTEs in this market, folks. Be careful.
Steve, Boeing got good news overnight. I forgot to mention that earlier. 500 planes being bought by China here, or an order for 500 planes, has that stock back up at 226 here this morning.
All right, I sold half of that Palantir that I just bought. That big, I had a big order down there, so I sold half of that. I'm going to let the rest of this ride. It's right now at that. Yeah, come on, baby, break that view up there.
Mag 7, 5 of the 7 to the downside. Google up about 0.5 percentage point, and NVIDIA, after having a rough week, as we said, now showing a little bit of positivity. You got a nice little hammer candlestick there yesterday, so maybe NVIDIA starts to make a move back to the upside. Will the bulls try to get their revenge for earlier in the week, where they've definitely gotten whacked around? PTIX, Ron. I don't even know where you find these ones. PTIX. Pharmaceutical companies.
Biotech, baby, biotechs.
They are up 87% here. Normal volume, 1.35 million today, 29 million. Volume's there. They can pump on that. This is one still below its 200-day MA also. That's a weird looking chart. And that news is on them advancing their PT00114 into multiple dose phase 1 trial, positioning for phase 2, stress and mood disorders. Nice gold. Good catch there, Ron.
Silver back over 38 here.
Yeah, definitely nice move up by silver here. You said that. You called that yesterday. And Ethereum and Bitcoin continuing to push to the upside. Come on, Ethereum, get through that VWAP here and we move. Come on.
Dollar yen at 147 again.
Here
147.
we go. We're pumping. Starting to pump here on the crypto.
Yeah, I think so too. I think
113.5. Let's go. I will say that aerodrome I mentioned here again yesterday. We went on a trade on it, hit our profit overnight, 132 to 141, pretty quick. So Aerodrome Finance, which is Coinbase's the largest decentralized exchange on the base layer. They are the Uniswap of Coinbase's layer 2 and the only token sort of associated with Base. Robinhood up nicely today, 1.43%. Will mention they have their big investor announcement on September 9th. I'll be excited to see what they say there because of their, I want to see how they're doing with their blockchain integration.
But AI, blockchain, and crypto are dead, Howard. That's what the news is telling us. All right, Mr. Palantir, let's go, baby.
There you go, positive up to the upside, almost 0.25% there.
Come on, Mr. Palantir, don't slow down. Burn those shorts. There we go. Burn those shorts. It's struggling at 156.
DXY 98.336. So still has been unable to break that key resistance. Steve Flanagan warned us about at 98.70 here. Right. But again, holding that 50-day MA. Marilyn, I know you got into some of that arrow. I love it. I love it. We did hit our first target. Let's see what else is moving here. Not really much.
Yeah, the tick's starting to move just a little bit to the upside a little bit. It's flat, but could see a pop here. As the algos are sitting on the sideline for right now, it looks like. Shorts might get burnt here a little bit if they feel like any kind of.
All of the movers so far this morning are either healthcare or Chinese names.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned that last week, right?
Yeah, a little weird.
Yeah, I mentioned that last week on Schwab. Where's the alpha? And it's healthcare, right? That's what I've said all along. Healthcare. Especially in the insurance business of healthcare.
Steve, the other one that continues to move nicely to the upside is Dayforce. After that, talks that they were going to go private with Thomas Bravo. Oh, they just announced that.
They did go private. They
just reached that agreement. Okay, so $70 a share. Yeah, $70 a share. So people will buy that up a little bit, $68.89. I mean, you might as well.
Well, they have debt, right? So you can't. Be careful there. You got to buy the debt too. That's a negative on the stock price. So
yeah.
All right. So Palantir can't hold that 156 and now back down a little bit. So we're good. I'm staying with it. I took a little bit of that profit off in this morning's buy.
So. Fine, just broke to new lows. Well, not lows of the morning, but breaking back down to the downside. So that little move up was short-lived here so far.
Tick trying. Yeah, they're trying.
Hughes are trying.
Here's some news for you. The Menendez brothers are up again in front of the board and to get out. You gonna let him out, Howard?
I don't know. I'm one of those guys that never drive my wife crazy because I don't follow any of those sort of.
Oh, me neither.
I know who the Menendez brothers are. They killed their parents. But was it mental anguish or are they crazy? I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, yes to all of it.
It's a very quiet day. We're seeing the tick slipping a little bit here, but I'm really just. Good morning, Marilyn. How are you?
I do think if Ford starts to get to some spots that interest me here, if it pulls back just a little bit more, bounce off that 50. I'd like it below 11 because then I just buy the $11 long dated calls. They always seem to pay off. So I am watching. Ford's on watch list for me today, guys. Drops below that 11. They are best in class in U.S. car manufacturing.
I will say this much. I'm reading, the defense leaders from both Finland, France, Germany, Italy, UK, Ukraine, and the United States are creating a military plan to assist peace talks in Europe. A new Marshall Plan, possibly, in Europe. And I think that'll be good. Just when you think we were going to get out of Europe and get out of Japan and kaboom, kaboom, right?
Yeah, I thought we were going to lessen our.
Yeah, that's what yeah, exactly, right. Yeah.
I thought that was the whole idea, yeah. So that's a little confusing, right? Ford continuing to move to the downside here. Tick still negative.
Yeah, I mean, I'm liking this here. Yahoo Finance just was posting here that from the CIO from Northwestern Mutual is now saying that higher inflation is clouding the Fed's outlook. Let me ask you this. I've been doing this 35 years. And when people ask me questions, I know my answer because I've done my homework, right? I don't have to go. If I don't know something, I'll just say, I don't really know. You are a Fed governor, and you're asked, what do you think about the economy? I don't know is not an answer. You are a Fed board governor. You need, I need to see more data from tariffs. I need to see more data from jobs. I need to see more data from inflation. Okay, I can understand that. Once, twice, 3 times.
Right.
But 3 years? No. You can't keep kicking the can down down the road. You've got to give me the answers here. And I agree with the president on this. You know what? They either tell us what's going on or get out, right? Fed's Bullard, who's no longer a Fed governor, he's now over at Purdue, says that rates are high right now and can cut 100 basis points into 2026. Fed, remember, Bullard's never been that way until he changed. Yeah, Steve Flanagan says that. Good morning, Steve. Hope everything's good with you. Fed academics never take risk in answering. Correct. It's all right. And you know what? Maybe Steve Flanagan mentioned this last week. Maybe we should get away from academics. Maybe we should get somebody that actually understands economics, not just from an academic standpoint. Keynesian law. Oh my God. Look, I went to school too. I went to university. Right? But I also need to understand it from the perspective of economics today and how we work things out. Okay, here we go. Global manufacturing PMI now coming in at 53.3 versus 49.8. Previous year was 49.7. So manufacturing jumping a little bit. Might be a little bit of negative there on the markets here. That would slow down services PMI. That would definitely slow down the services PMI 55.4 versus 55.7. So 54.2 is previous. So, the problem now is becoming, do we even believe these numbers anymore? That's what scares me.
Steve Discus, which is the lobbying party of the The liquor industry doesn't agree with you on tariffs.
Great. Don't care.
They just came out and said U.S. tariffs on the EU will increase wholesale wine and spirit prices by over 80 cents, and the levies could raise $987 million in federal revenue.
So are you telling me
who's going to buy that wine when it costs?
Yeah, you beat me to it. Actually, okay, yeah, you beat me to it. That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why they. That is so surprising. I actually know Chris Swanger very well, who is the president of Discus. I might have to ask him what he's thinking.
Hey, I agree with that. Hey, Ron Williams, Sam Moonshine. Hey, baby, little white lighting. I grew up.
Hey,
on white lighting. My first drink was a white lightning. Whew.
No. All you got to do is buy American there, Brown Forman. That's why it's up.
I mean, white lightning is still white lightning. The statute of limitations is way over on that one.
You can distill a certain amount by yourself.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, just got to keep it under a certain. The still has to be under a certain level, and production has to.
Boy, this is a quiet market.
Yeah.
The shorts are really trying here on Palantir.
In fact, I just looked it up. If you live in West Virginia, especially, you can produce up to 10 gallons of spirits per year for personal use.
And how much do they do for dental work?
Missouri allows up to 200 gallons.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, go to my St. Louis place and go hang out. All right.
And then, yeah, that's up to your neck of the woods there, my friend, back in the day, you know?
I grew up there. That's right.
And in Texas, they just recently, a judge upheld that their Hobby Distillers Association has the right to, to basically distill. Federally,
I said that Palantir trying to bounce back up here, sir.
Yeah. Q's are bouncing up here right now. Uh-oh, that got a lot of comments. What's going on? Sick of the chop. I don't blame them. That's exactly what it is, Marilyn. Chop, chop, chop. We're making some salad here.
I will say that she's right. I will say that tomorrow will not be like this. Tomorrow will be a telltale day all day. If we can break that VWAP there on Palantir, we could have a really good day here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everything I'm reading. I mean, I for those of you who don't know, I have massive screens, and I've got a 55-inch screen just for Tweet Deck, and for me, it's showing, chop, chop, chop again. I think Palantir. We're seeing dollar pushing up here a little bit here, 98.50. We need to get Steve Flanagan on if he's around, but 98.50 now on Dixie here. When I was asked on Street this week, I was asked about what are we not watching, and that's the dollar. You got to watch the Dixie here because the Dixie is the answer.
Bullard back in 100 basis points cuts here as he vies for the Fed chairman job.
J Powell. Come on, Palantir. Let's break this sucker here. Let's go break this view up. Let's go see what you got. Come on. Bring it to me. Bring it to me. Break it down. Break it down. All right. Come on, baby. Let's go, Palantir. Yeah, CNBC International now posting European pharma is spared the worst case in the U.S. tariffs. I agree with that. I mentioned it this morning, right? I'm glad they see the way I see it. Oops.
Bitcoin and Ethereum both failing at VWAP here right now.
Yeah, the VWAP's tough on it, and the 156 is tough on Palantir here. We need to break the 156 handle here. Get right on up there. There we go. Let's go. Yeah, it's linear regression on Palantir is about as hot as it gets, man. That thing is dead on. 10-year now jumping here a little bit. It's getting really jumpy. 4.33.
Tick pretty flat. Advanced decline's been pretty much pegged at this minus 3,400 level. Not a whole bunch going on. Steve, today ESPN does launch its new streaming service. You are a fan of that, right?
I am. And there you go. 156 couldn't hold and then break back down on that VWAP. But I that tells me that the algos are now $1 now pushing here even higher, 98.40. God, 49, right on that number there.
Yeah, Mr. Flanagan just posted this week's high.
Yeah. If you can hear, Steve, talk to me a little bit about this 99 handle. Are we going to push to it with these deals coming pretty fast and furious? You've been calling it last few weeks, I should say. Is this what's pushing the dollar here? $155.49 now, 53. Palantir could. It needs a little bit of oomph here. It needs some working here, but
wow, Steve, just seeing that India passed a new online gaming bill that imposes a blanket ban on all real money gambling.
Yeah, that's
no daily fantasy, no.
I mentioned that yesterday. We're getting in the gaming side of this is the gambling side of this is a little too much for me. We need to separate them out. We separated them. 155.80. Yes, gambling. It should never be anywhere near stocks and options and investing, because when you start to muddle the two, people muddle the two. Right? We don't need that. You want to? And I'm not against gambling because I have a Hard Rock account. I go to the gambling casinos every once in a while. Great, good fun if you know what you're going to lose. I trade every single day, so why do I want to play blackjack all the time? Right? It's boring to me. This is more exciting. There's more things to do here, but the two of them should not be mixed. Do I use my grocery money to buy a blackjack hand, or do I buy crypto? Right? I think we all know the answer to that question. We're really struggling here on Palantir. It's very quiet. Tick down 450 now, as 98.52 now, making another high on the week there from the Dixie.
Huge struggling, moving back down to the downside. It look like they want to fall to the lows of the day again. Silver unable to hold that 38 handle.
Flanagan says that JPAL's target is 99 there. We really, he's right. We need to see what traders now pairing their bets on 2 Fed interest rate cuts this year. I agree. It's just 2.
You see now just 2?
Yeah. I don't see any more than 2.
We got Fed Bostic is going to be speaking soon, so that should be interesting.
Great. Is he betting on the markets again too with his money?
I don't know about that.
I mean, we got a Fed governor who's cheating on their home. We've got a Fed governor that was trading stocks. this is what I mean. When you have gambling and stocks and zero DTEs, the markets don't become a regular market anymore. When I tell people this, what the market was always built for, they look at me like I'm crazy because they don't understand their history. And I'll explain history to you. The market was built for companies to go to get money, right? That's what they did. You went to the market. You said, I have a great product. I want to sell my car to the company. So here's my stock. Would you like to buy investment in my company? That's what they did.
Yeah.
And then you invested in that company because you thought they were going to do well. This isn't like, oh, we're going to buy something and all the derivatives around it. I mean, what is it that Warren Buffett called derivatives? Weapons of mass destruction. Yeah. Yeah. But we and it's okay. I like options. I've been playing options for 35 years on the floor of the options exchange. I remember back in the day when it looked like a high school sweatshop. But man, we got to get past this gambling addiction thing that we have. And I trade every day. Y'all know I've been doing it. So I just the gambling addiction side is really bad. Hey, I appreciate everybody out there. Wow, look at all the numbers for people watching us, Howard, this morning.
Nice.
Repost us out there if you can. If you're on Twitter, repost us. If you're on LinkedIn,
yes. Hit that follow, like button, all those fun things. Help us get to more retail investors and help them. U.S. weekly jobless claims rose again, 235K, highest since June. That has us now at basically pushing back down towards the lows of the day. So the economy won't get out of the way for the market today, it doesn't look like.
No.
Ethereum getting hit here pretty hard.
Bloomberg just posted that U.S. manufacturing is expanding at the fastest rate in more than 3 years on stronger demand, but that's also fueling sustained inflationary pressures. That's exactly right, right? You can't have it both ways. And if you're going to have better manufacturing, then inflation is going to go up. That's just how it is going to be. So I don't know. Maybe we need an administration that understands economics. I'm not really confused here. Q's dropping a little bit.
Yeah, Dow Jones is down a half percentage point here. SPY about the same. Q's down 60 basis points here. Everything sort of falling back down towards the lows of the day. Steve, what are your final words as we head into Mr. Powell and Jackson Hole tomorrow?
It's a wait and see approach, and I think that's what you're seeing with everybody else. It's wait and see, wait and see, wait and see. It's like the holidays coming up. You know it's coming. You're getting ready. You're buying gifts. You're making plans for tomorrow because you know tomorrow is the big day. It's last night of Hanukkah, first Christmas. It's your birthday. It's St. Patrick's Day, all wrapped in one tomorrow for the markets. And when you think of it that way, it's going to be fireworks. And then when it actually comes out, it'll probably be the most boring move in the market. It may move a little bit, but I don't think existing home sales just came out. Those numbers came out.
Actually, a win. There's a win.
Yeah, at 4.01 million. Estimate there was 3.92 million. July existing home sales rise 2% month over month. That actually is a very good win, actually.
Yeah. Let's see if that gets the market move. It does. It has it off the lows of the day, so we'll see there.
Yeah.
For all of us who plays our markets, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you back here first thing tomorrow morning, everybody.